We are celebrating National Drink Wine Day here on Better Connecticut.
Renee Allen for the Wine Institute of New England is here with tips to help you enjoy your wine even more. I mean, everybody enjoys their wine.
As if you needed that, right?
Exactly, but there are certain tips that can help you enjoy more.
Yeah. And as far as National Drink Wine Day, we have a lot to celebrate as a nation. The last I checked in, we were approaching 10,000 wineries in our nation.
That is incredible.
That's a lot of wine. We've taken over the top consumer position from France. We did that about 6-7 years ago, and we're still going strong.
Wow.
And Connecticut, I just want to mention, because we are now just over 40 wineries in Connecticut.
40 wineries.
That's incredible, right?
A lot of choices. A lot of choices, yeah.
Right.
So that's great.
Wonderful. Okay.
So we have a selection of wines from California to Maine, but we want to talk a little bit today about what to do to some things you might be missing that are causing you not to enjoy your wine as much as you might be able to.
Okay.
For instance, white wine, the temperature that it's served at is very important. Where do we keep our wine? Usually in the refrigerator. It's 38 degrees in there. At 38 degrees, your white wine is in a condition known as numb. And if it's numb, that means the aromas, let's call them esters, can't become airborne. Let's call that volatile. And if they're not airborne, you can't smell them. If you can't smell them, you can't taste them.
So what do you recommend?
Take it out of, you don't need a special contraption, temperature controlled refrigerator. Take it out of the fridge like 15-20 minutes before you're going to drink it. Let it heat up just a little bit.
Okay.
If you're at a backyard barbecue with a friend who's got really bad taste or is cheap, drink it as cold as possible.
No, I have a wine cooler at home, and I think it's set to 42.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, most still white wines you're going to drink around 45 to 50 degrees is the best, so that you can actually taste it.
I will go home and change
And that's the whole idea. You want to be able to taste your wine.
Okay, very good.
The other thing is, I don't know if anyone's done this or if you've been to a dinner party and someone's picked out a really great dinner, some really nice wines to pair with it, and then they're like, let me just let the wine breathe, and they open up the wine and they leave the bottle there. That is like, this is why this is here.
Oh, okay.
That is like breathing through a straw.
Okay.
That is true. And I actually used to do that with students, and I had to stop that.
What are you supposed to do?
Well, if not all wine needs air, but if you want to give it a little bit of air, you should at least pour it into the glass, because that'll increase the surface area that's being
in the bottle.
It's just not enough surface area that's being in contact with the oxygen.
Okay.
So just pouring it into the glass actually creates some of that air, and then letting it have a bigger surface area in the glass. You can decant wine to give it more air, and you can use some of those fun contraptions we've talked about in the past to aerate the wine.
All right.
So that's a lot of fun. All right, now this is something that I do. A lot of people take their wine, they do the swirly thing, right? We call this now volatilizing the esters, so now it's getting those aroma compounds airborne so that you can smell it, so that you can taste it. But people tend to do it and then smell it, which is okay because it opens up the bouquet, but I always smell my wine first before I do any volatilizing.
Smell it first.
Sniff it and put your nose all the way in there, okay? And then swirl and then sniff again. And why do I do that? Well, one, it will change. It should open up the wine. The aroma should come quicker.
Yeah.
But there's another reason, for me, a wine geek. If there's a fault in the wine, which sometimes that happens, you're more likely to catch it before you start doing this, because that helps it dissipate into the atmosphere quicker.
Very clever.
So I want to catch anything.
A fault? What does a fault smell like?
It can smell like a lot of different things, but one of the ones that cork taint that a lot of people talk about smells like a musty basement.
Oh, okay.
You might notice that. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So another thing that you might not be doing that you should do is drink wine with screw caps on them. This one has a screw cap. I'm a big fan of the screw cap. Yes, there was sort of a stigma attached to it when it first came out. People thought it was bad wine, cheap wine, whatever. But if you accept the premise, and this is true, that the majority of all wine produced in the entire world is meant to be drunk young, and that is like between 2 and 5 years, depending on the wine, screw caps make a lot of sense.
Okay.
It keeps it fresh, right? It's faster to open in a wine emergency. Right? We like the screw cap, so drink screw cap wines. I like them. Detecting, identifying. A lot of people always tell me, I want to know if this tastes like or smells like strawberries, or if it's raspberries or pomegranate. They think that's a big part of wine tasting, and it is. The good news is that you can get better at doing this through practice. So there are about 10,000 aromas that are detectable, and 1,000 of those are identifiable.
Wow.
Meaning the difference between, oh, that smells like something I know, but I can't put a word to it, and oh, yeah, this is definitely pomegranate. That's detection versus identification. Wine has about 200 aromas that we're dealing with. The more you work with that, the more you try and put a word to what it is you're smelling and tasting, the faster your recall will be the next time you smell or taste it.
Interesting.
You can get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because women are better than men naturally. Research shows.
Well, what else?
We have better noses.
You gotta work a little harder.
We have better noses, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're talking about pairing food with wine.
Yeah, and this is a really big thing with me. Like, wine and food go together. And I think they make each other better. Wine really isn't meant to be just sipped alone, although I'm not gonna lie, I start drinking while I'm cooking the dinner.
Okay.
I don't wait till the food's ready. But it just changes both components. And the idea is to get a good enough match that you're elevating the entire meal and making them both taste better. And just as an example, I did this for Valentine's Day, this champagne sabering event, and we had all these great champagnes and everybody was enjoying it. And then I pulled out something that was a little bit sweet. And they all tried it and they're like, oh, we don't like this. But there happened to be a beautiful raspberry cake on the table. I said, try a piece of the cake, try the wine again. And everybody who did that said, okay, that makes more sense now. So for instance, if you want to try a sweet wine and then have a cookie and try it again, you will understand what I'm talking about.
All right, so eat your sweet stuff with your sweet wine. Thank you so much,
To learn more about
Renee.
Renee and the wine and spirits courses she offers, check out her website, wineinstituteofnewengland.com. Thanks, Renee.